So, there's this game that a few of the seniors around here like to play. Maybe you've heard of it. It's mostly just dorks and they chase each other around with water guns. But anyway, I had a friend who was playing the game, right? And the thing was, when she found out the team she was up against, even after she read their names and saw their pictures, she still had no idea who they were. I didn't either. Here were three people who had gone to school with us for several thousand hours in the same building over the last 4 years, and we didn't even recognize them. And then my friend said something I'll never forget. She said that she was up against randoms. And randoms was the word she used. And that struck me. Because I've heard a lot of labels in my time. I've heard about slackers, I've heard about nerds, I've seen hundreds of people reduced to one word, I've heard about athletes, I've heard about art kids, I've heard about burnouts and never got started. There's the straight edge overachievers and the Circle K kids and the wannabe cowboys, to name a few of my favorites. You know, I've heard about freaks and I've heard about geeks. It seems like we've got a new clique for every day of the week, but randoms, that was a new one. And I started to think about what that word means. Random means different, unexpected, unknown and uncertain. It also means potential and possibilities. When I think of somebody random, I see someone who's got more to offer than just a word. Someone who's more than just the next step in the pattern. I see someone complicated, maybe even frustrating. I see someone consistently inconsistent, someone unrepentantly independent, someone insistent on an assistant who still rejects what's recommended. When I think of random, the person I see looks a lot like you and a lot like me and a lot like everyone I've ever met. Corona, look around you. I don't know about you, but I don't see any stereotypes. I don't see anybody who comes even close to typical. I don't see a class so much as a class of individuals. I see over 2,000 stories and over 2,000 miracles. It's beautifully ridiculous and ridiculously beautiful, but the thing is, if we're not careful, we're not gonna stay that way. It's not easy to be yourself in this world. And if you get too far away from who you really are, you might not be there when you get back. It gets you early. Already I see us molding ourselves to fit our applications and redrawing the lines of our futures according to college board statistics. It's a paint by the numbers game. You see, the system doesn't really like randoms either. We're living in a world that is very unkind to those who do not allow themselves to be organized. Pieces of data which do not fit the trend are pronounced irrelevant. To use the words of a very wise man, we are not the droids they are looking for, but we will be. See, we're taught from first grade that only the round pegs get to go in the round holes, so we'll just grind down all of our sharp edges until we fit. And we'll give up on dreams and on principles, and we'll call it growing up. But really, we'll just be growing thin. Thin enough to finally fit in. And when we show up on some list, they're gonna know exactly who we are. But not because they recognize our names, but because we'll have become exactly who they expect us to be. Yeah, but then again, there's a gentleman out there with a fire extinguisher who would probably disagree with me. You know, when I think about all the trouble we caused with just water guns and willpower, you know, maybe we've got a little more fight in us than I think. Maybe we've got a little more right in us than I think. And why shouldn't we? Let's be the first to make our ideals reality. I mean, why settle for maturity when we can have immortality? Are you with me? Well, then pay attention, because each of us lives in not 3 but 4 dimensions, where we've been, where we are, where we're going, and what we're going to do when we get there. So let's make it count. take all the passion you have and all the love you can borrow, because kids these days will be legends tomorrow. Let's be the generation they make movies about. We are extraordinary by definition. We are revolutionaries by default. Look, I can't stand here and tell you to break the rules, but let's shout it to the world that we're going to shatter their expectations and that their preconceived notions should expect to be burned, because we know who we are and we are proud of what we learned, and we are coming at you live from both sides of the bell curve. Wherever we go and whatever we find, may we always dream bigger than the boxes we're assigned. May our generational trend be nothing of the kind. Let us set a standard of surprises and of beautiful minds, because, well, the past is untouchable, the future is blind, but the present is priceless, and it's always on time. So let's be random. Let's be indescribable. Because if we defy categorization, we make our presence undeniable. In a world of expectations, it isn't hard to see just how powerful random can be.